Hello and welcome to the first episode of Nothing But Bass. Today's episode will be about how you can make your own solo bass arrangements of your favorite songs just by following two simple theories, two simple tips, two simple facts. That's up to you. I will show you that later in this video. And by the end, please make sure to check that out because I believe that only if you're a proper bass player by heart, you will be able to guess the bass line that I'm playing in the end, and put that in the comment section below because I would like to see if you're a proper bass player or not. But what is Nothing But Bass and why should you keep watching? Well, I'll tell you right after this. So yeah, why should you watch Nothing But Bass? I mean, out of all of the other mediums, like out of Scott's Bass Lessons, you got the Bass Vault, you got so many other websites, you got so many other, I don't know, podcasts, YouTube channels, Instagram channels. Why should you watch Nothing But Bass? I don't know. I want Nothing But Bass to be a show where we shine a light on being the bass player and the bass guitar itself, because I am sick and tired of people and musicians, even professional musicians, although there are a few of them, that they are underestimating and not kind of like appreciating the bass player. It's like it's almost common that you don't know how good of a bass player you had until you don't have him anymore. So let's say you are in a band, you've been touring away for quite some time, and suddenly the artist wants to have a change of scenery and he changes the bass player, but then he kind of like, there's something wrong, there's something that doesn't fit right like it did on the last tour, which then the answer most likely is the bass player is changed, and now the artist understands how important that bass player are. So I want this show to be about that. I want to interview other bass players who are in the market right now. I want to interview other people in the rhythm section to kind of like what their views on the bass player are. I would like to do some bass lessons, do some gear reviews, everything like that. Literally nothing but bass, but I want this to be and somewhat kind of like appreciating the bass player. But yeah, for those who don't know me, my name is Andreas Oxholm and I am a Norwegian bass player. I actually managed to get like a top 3 bassist of the year of 2019 at the London Bass Guitar Show, and I am also in collaboration with Boss. As you can see, the pedal that I'm randomly put in place on the camera there. Good friend with Vince in Boss, who hooked me up with Boss, and starting to go to NAMM and all that. I've been touring with other artists. I've been playing in Scandinavia, I've been playing in the UK, America, not so much in America, but mostly in Norway and the UK, with super guitarists like Paul Gilbert, with American rock artist, amazing voice, Mitch Malloy, and many other artists as well. I hope you stick around. I hope you like this show, and I'm gonna try and stick to my script and not talk a lot out of it. But I'm excited to do this. The next chapter will be about how you can make your own solo bass arrangements with following a couple of tips, and I will be showing you that right now. Now, On this next section here, I will be talking about how you, as a bass player, a fellow bass player, how you can be able to make your own solo bass arrangements of your favorite songs, and not have to wait until someone posts a solo bass arrangement of your song, and then you can learn it. I'd like to give you the theory and the techniques so that you'll be able to make it on your own, which is more given, which is more fun to do, honestly. I'll be doing that by actually performing one of my own solo bass arrangements of one of my favorite songs, which is Fix You by Coldplay. Beautiful songs, beautiful song. Well, Coldplay has beautiful songs as well, but this song is very beautiful. The arrangement is quite simple, and that's the thing about this. When you learn how to make your own solo bass arrangements, you can make them as hard as you'd like. You can make them as flashy as you want, just making it enough so that it sounds like the song that you're actually trying to produce. Well, yeah, here's my arrangement of Fix You by Coldplay on solo bass. Hope you like it. Well, I remember very particularly because I made these solo bass arrangements like the day before I was going to perform on a rooftop. This is just when COVID hit Norway and we had our first lockdown. And I was invited to do a solo bass live stream concert. I wasn't invited solo bass, but I was invited to do a concert on a rooftop. It is on my YouTube channel. You should check it out. It's Fix You Arrangements. But that outside, it was really cold. I did about as many mistakes as I did now. But that's about live. On live music, we have some mistakes, but it's real. Anyway, I have notes and sheet music on my website. I can put the link in the description below if you would like to download the sheet music and play this arrangement for yourself. I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe you can play it better than I did right now. Anyways, my tips of like making your own arrangements like I did here. First off, I don't know if you know anything about, oh, the mic here is going wrong. I don't know if you know anything about key signatures and all that. But one of my first and foremost tips is obviously make transpose the song into a key that fits the bass guitar, or tune the bass relatively to that key. I think Fix You originally is in E flat. I transposed it to E so that I will be able to like use the open strings as the bass notes when I play the arrangement, because obviously you can, but you probably don't want to tap your way through the whole arrangement, which makes the bass more of a piano rather than the bass guitar. But yeah, that's the first tip. The second tip is like learn to play the melody by itself first. So go. Right? Which is ish like the melody. Just learn the melody enough that people will recognize it, which is basically enough. And then try and make it sound like a vocal. So add all these articulations in your left hand that will kind of make it more smooth, make it more realistic. So you can go like... So you got all the hammer-ons, you got all the slides, you got all of that to make it kind of like a bit more flashy and a bit more well thought out, and also sounds better, obviously. But that's the thing. When you now know the melody, then you just need to kind of like do the role of the bass player as well. So you have to just make sure that you can do the root notes as well. And this is the funny bit about making solo bass arrangements for bass guitar, because you know how in a chord you should have more notes than just the root note going. But a mixture between the melody and the root note usually makes the chord also have more chordal notes. So when you do the root notes and you play the melody, between all of that melody and that one long chord of E, you will have more chord notes in the melody line, so you will get the feel of the melody line. But on top of that, the bass guitar has such a solid amount of note when you play one note. I'm sorry, the English will get better as the episodes will continue. So when I do this root note here, you will also, in the overtone scale, you will hear a lot of the fifth, and I think the third is the next, and then maybe even some seventh. I'm not sure about the seventh, but in the overtone scale, so in this note here, you don't only hear E, you also, which is the root note, you also hear the fifth and the third, like in the overtones of the note. Please, if there's anyone who knows more about this, put that in the comment below. I would love to learn more, but this is my what I've concluded with. So, which means if you can cover the melody and the root note at the same time, then you will actually get almost the same kind of depth and the same kind of color as a guitar would do by adding all of the chord notes and using all 6 strings, because we only have 4 strings and we need to use that. So by playing the melody articulated, and then with the root note as well, you'll get as much as you need to make the arrangement enough for people to listen to and get a good vibe of it. It's not like a thin arrangement, it's a fully arrangement. Next bit, like since I'm kind of like holding all of the melody notes at the same time as the root note is being played, then you get kind of the total of the chord at the end. Like it's almost like doing arpeggios, right? That's an E minor arpeggio, which is the best thing that we could do to kind of like replicate the chord, since we don't have enough strings. And you know how a fifth doesn't necessarily sound good playing on the bass, but if you're doing it 1 octave below, 1 octave above, then it sounds better. But I mean, I'm playing a short scale bass, which is why I can do these big fancy chords. But if you're playing a regular sized scale bass, then that's going to be a very tall one to do. But this B section here, I'm doing the root note, but also I'm making the chord. But luckily for me, that is also the melody line. So it's like, lights will guide, right? So it's kind of like only root note and melody line on top of each other, and that's enough. To include the viewers more, I would love to have this kind of aspects of the show where you have like I don't have a prize yet, but maybe that's something I could get, like some winner prizes. But this section is, can you guess the bass line? And I mean, I hope there are other proud bass players out there just like me, who kind of like, instead of actually singing the song, like singing the melody line of the song and the lyrics, I actually, when I sing a song, I actually sing the bass line of the song, and kind of, yeah, I don't know. I hope that there are more of you out there, not just me. But can you guess the bass line of this episode? I think this is a tough one. The bass line by itself is really, really tough. But if you know this bass line, I believe you are a proper bass player. Put it in the comment section below which bass line you think this is. I hope you get right. Yeah, I love this bass line. You ready? Let's hope that's enough for you. All right? Can you guess the bass line? Put it down in the comment section below. It's not going to take long until the next episode. I will learn, I will be better. But I hope you enjoyed this. Please subscribe, like, comment, share, everything like that if you enjoyed it, and if you think other bass players would like it. Maybe even other musicians would like this too. Maybe other producers, I don't know. Thank you guys so much for watching. This will not take long until a new episode. I hope you enjoyed it. All right, bye. Thank you. Bye.